Hi, my name is Jamie from the channel One Happy Frugal Family, and today I'm going to share with you my July budget report. July was a really weird month for me. I had a close encounter with COVID with somebody who was diagnosed immediately having COVID, so I actually was on quarantine and I didn't teach swimming lessons for 2 weeks, so that was really hard for my budget, but I did end up getting a family member who gave me some supplemental income to counterbalance that, which I'm really grateful for. Some other things happened in July. I took a test that cost $500 for me to get my DNA tested to see which antibiotics work best with my DNA. So I had some really interesting things happen in July, some medical kind of things happening that put me behind, and as a single mom it's kind of stressful when those things happen. But let's go ahead and jump into the numbers and I'll show you guys exactly how July ended up. It actually turned out okay despite everything. I'm really grateful that I got that supplemental income, but let's go ahead and jump on into the numbers. In July we split our finances and I was left with a remainder of $4,173.59 from our checking accounts. This is not our savings accounts where our emergency fund was located. I went ahead and filled up all of my sinking funds with this extra $2,173.59 that I wouldn't have to carry over for the next month. Swimming lessons, I was projected to bring in $1,000 and I brought in less. I brought in $575 because I was quarantined for 2 weeks. I was exposed to COVID when my elderly neighbors called me over. They were really sick and they told me that they didn't have COVID, but when I got over there they were in a really bad position. I helped get them to the hospital that night where they were rushed their test and diagnosed for COVID 4 hours later. So I self-quarantined for the 2 weeks that the CDC was recommending at that time. I think now it's only 10 days though. I did receive my second child support payment for $1,306.50, and I got some supplemental income at $1,000 for a gift and $73.75 from eBay sales, and I must have sold something else on eBay and forgot to write it in because I'm at $1,084.33. And the $1,000 gift that I received was from a family member who just generously looked at my position that I had recently been divorced and I was quarantined and without work. So that was very kind of my relative to send me some money. So that brought the income at $7,139.42, which was higher than projected, mainly because we split our finances and I refilled all of the sinking funds. They are lower, obviously, than they previously have been, but it's nice that I still have some money left to fill in categories like for things like car savings and stuff like that. Then scrolling on down, I didn't pay my first tithing and offering because I didn't receive child support by then. We hadn't split our finances by the 5th. I just didn't receive that child support payment, so I didn't pay tithing on it. Tithing and offerings too, I paid the full amount from my child support and alimony, which equals $130.61. And swim tithing, I paid less. I paid $57.50 because I brought in less, and that was 10% of my swim tithing. Mortgage stayed the same at $860. Car insurance was $57.48. Health insurance $245.50. My energy bill was significantly lower than it had been in previous years, which I'm really grateful for. I projected about $50 and came under at $24.51. Netflix stayed the same at $6.50. Cell phones stayed the same at $48.53. Internet stayed the same at $89.99. The water bill was higher by $28.94. I projected $160. It came out at $188.94. I think it was higher than $28 because I did fill my pool, which is amazing that it only cost me about $28 to fill my pool. $29 really. That is why that was higher. And groceries, I came in under at $203.18 because my ex-husband's sister was moving and she asked me if I would would like the contents of her freezer, which was very awesome because they had purchased a cow a year ago. So I got, well, like half a cow. So I got the remainder of all of their ground beef. I got a roast that I cooked today. It is Sunday. And so I got a lot of frozen meat, and then she also shops at Costco and had tons of like frozen berries and vegetables and lots of brand new bags of things that she hadn't opened. So I got very fortunate to get the remainder of her freezer content. So we really didn't need to go grocery shopping. And my gas bill also came in low at $53.48. Just not a lot of driving around right now with COVID. And my DNA test, when I got it done, they said it would be $450, but when I got the bill, it was $500. So I'm just going to change that. And the DNA test that I got done, it is a test that gives me the output of my DNA and which medications work best with my DNA. Specifically right now, I struggle with anxiety really bad, and going through a divorce has made my anxiety a lot worse. I am really struggling sleeping. I will wake up screaming sometimes in a panic and just not like know where I am or what happened. It's a lot of PTSD and trauma. I am just investing a little bit more into getting on sort of the right medications that help me function better. Part of that was testing my DNA, and it gave me a huge output for a lot of ailments, not just anxiety that I deal with. It actually, when I got my DNA test results, you know what, I'm going to show you really quick what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and jump in so I can kind of show you what the results were. Okay, so here we are in my genetic DNA test results. So, for example, depression, it lists up depression. The drugs that are most optimal for me are very small as opposed to the drugs that don't work with me. And I had been taking citalopram for my anxiety forever, and it just was not the thing that really helped me the most. Like, that's what I found out with my DNA. It also tested for bipolar disease, anxiety, which is where my citalopram actually came in. And now I am on this buzzproprin. So that's kind of how that came into play. So it tested so far depression, bipolar, anxiety, psychosis, ADHD, musculoskeletal, pain, arthritis, migraines, neuropathical pain, seizures. So it tested for a lot of things, and I'm actually really glad that I did it. I have noticed a significant improvement from when I went off of the citalopram and went on to a medication that actually worked better with my genetics. So I kind of showed you that. I had somebody that asked about it, and I just wanted to show you that process. Moving on down into the sinking funds, this is where I filled a lot of my sinking funds up with that remainder that I had after divorce was finalized and we split our finances. I put $1,000 into the medical deductible account, $500 into the car account, so this would be if the car breaks down, $5 into the dog care account. I put no money into the backup child support account because I actually created this line item after, but somebody recommended that I start kind of saving up a little bit of backup child support in case a child support payment ends up being late or not coming in, because it's not like you've ever heard of men being behind on their child support, and I thought that it's actually a really great idea. So I thought at least start with one backup child support check just to have that on hand. Yard care, I put in $10. Prescriptions and therapy, I put in $250, but I'm actually going to change that to $200 and have this be a negative $51.94. The reason being is because the DNA test ended up costing $500 and I need to get that $50 somewhere. And I put in more in this account because we ended up having a kind of an emergency therapy session to talk about some co-parenting issues that we split the cost of a therapy session, and then I did have medication. So I am negative $51.94 now in this account
which I will have to make up for next month. And I think I just need to start putting about $125 in each month and building this back up to get that out of the negative hole I'm in. Children's needs, I had a remaining amount of $58.20 when all was said and done with the budget, and I went over in this account because I registered the boys for a gymnastics class for $74, and I believe my ex-husband will be paying me half of that, so I should be receiving some money back. So that should take that account out of the negative, but you never know, so I'm not going to wait to see if I get that back or not. So at this point, I'm just going to count it as my expense that I purchased. Babysitting account, I put in $100 and I ended up using 65 of it for a neighbor girl named Holly while I taught swimming lessons. So I have $35 remaining, which is nice to go into August because I will probably need more money for August because I plan to teach more swimming lessons and not have the COVID quarantine experience like I did in July. So I'll need a little bit more money than the $100 because I'll be teaching more swimming lessons. Clothing and hair, I'm slowly building back up. I put in $10 and it has $10 in it. Dental, I put in $10 and it has $10. Vision, I put in $10 and it has $10. And food storage, I put in $10 and that account now has $10. Moving on into our leisure funds. The family vacation account, I put in $170 because in July we went on a last minute trip with my brother to a cabin through his work, and I spent $164.20 on that cabin trip. Christmas, I put in $50 and I have $36.08 remaining, which I purchased a Hallmark ornament for one of my boys for $13.92. I worked at Hallmark when I was in high school, and ever since then I have purchased an ornament for me, and then when I had my boys, every year I purchased an ornament for them. Last month's account did not get filled. The electronics account, I put in $10. Health and fitness, I put in $25, and I spent $22.11 on a cord because I had a very nice neighbor who gifted me an elliptical, which I am super grateful about, and it didn't have the cord, so I bought that on Amazon and it is coming in the mail, and I'm very excited about that. Birthdays and holidays, I put in $25. Eating out, I put in $100 and I had a remainder of $32.83. My Mad Money, I put in $50 and I spent $18.23 at the Dollar Tree. I didn't even really spend it on me. I bought educational learning toys for the kids. I really like the Dollar Tree's little education section. They have some good flashcards, and always right before school they have some good new sort of games for learning how to read and some like spelling charts and stuff like that, and it's a good place to get some sort of Montessori type learning tools. So I spent $18.23 at the Dollar Tree. I could have put that in children's needs, but I honestly had money in my Mad Money account and I just took it out of my money. Family fun and reunions, I put in $25 and we still have $25 in that account. I didn't put any money into my emergency fund. I could have put some of the supplemental income from children's needs in there, and if I do get reimbursed for half of the boys' gymnastics class that I put them in, then I could put some of that in the emergency fund. I don't know, I'm kind of torn right now on what I want to do next with any extra money, if I want to put it into an emergency fund or if I want to start investing. I did put $5 into a Robinhood account, so I now have $9.08. Robinhood is just a easy investing tool app that you can use to purchase stock, and the nice thing is that you can buy and sell without a penalty. So I have a link for that in the description below if you're interested in selling on Robinhood. That brought the total remaining to $2,300, which I want to have that $2,300 carrying me into August because that's about the amount of my monthly expenditures that I need each month for my 4 walls. And so my 4 walls is just like my shelter, food, gas, all of my regular bills would be about $2,300. So I'm trying to have that much always carrying over so that I could always at least pay my bills the next month. So that is where the budget sits today. We're not working for 2 weeks. I actually did pretty well, all things considered. This was the July budget report. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe and you're able to get out and do fun things despite having the shelter in place. Like you're able to get outdoors and participate in nature and do a lot of self-care at this time. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you guys as a part of this journey. And thank you all of you who have been here for such a long time watching these videos. It means the world to me. I love seeing this community that we've built, and I sure appreciate you guys. I hope, again, that you're doing well. Take care, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.